Well, many thanks to Eni Mukwena for that interesting report. Now, civil society organizations led by the World Alliance for Citizen Participation, CIVICUS, is calling for the restoration of justice and democracy in Guinea. This following at least the killing of 157 protesters and the wounding of over 1,000 other people during a military crackdown. Now, this was during a recent large-scale public protest in Guinea, sparked by indications given by the leader of the military regime there, Captain Moussa Dadis Camara, that he may stand for the national presidential election scheduled for January the 31st. Next year, that's 2010, reneging on a previous promise not to contest the election. Now, a number of female protesters were raped and sexually assaulted by soldiers in the streets of the capital city, Conakry, in what is increasingly being viewed as criminal acts against citizens exercising their right of democratic dissent. Now, to discuss this, we are now joined here in the studio by Mandeep Singh Tiwana, and he is a Civil Society Watch Program Officer at CIVICUS. It's a very good morning to you, Mandeep, and it's a pleasure to chat to you once again. Now, do you have the correct information, and have you been able to verify that information that you are getting from Guinea? And as you were saying just earlier on, it's a rather tricky situation going up there, is it?
Yes, actually we have been in touch with our civil society partners on the ground in Guinea, and they have verified this information by talking to witnesses. They have also spoken to victims. They have also spoken to families of victims. There are a number of photographs that are there. The issue has been covered extensively in the local and the international media. So there is absolutely no doubt about the credibility of these accusations.
And so then what are the immediate needs of the civilians there with regards the current situation in Guinea?
I think first of all, the atmosphere security needs to be restored for citizens. Security not for the state, but for citizens. And for instance, people must be able to exercise their right of democratic dissent.
Yes.
But apart from that, a number of bodies of family of the victims have not been returned to their families. These must be given back. Democracy must be restored. And most importantly, justice must be restored.
Now, there is no doubt that at the core of this whole scenario we are seeing in Guinea is the possible inclusion of a coup leader, Captain Moussa, as as a candidate in the presidential election. What's your position on that?
Yeah, actually, these protests were sparked because by Captain Camara actually saying that, giving indications that he may contest for the elections, and that is why people said he's the leader of a military regime. The military regime, first of all, must commit itself not to participate in the election or support a candidate in the elections. And I think that is very, very important. And the elections are now scheduled for January.
January the 31st, yes. And do you think now, given the current scenario in the country, that come January the 31st in 2010, we can witness a free, fair and transparent presidential election in Guinea?
Well, as long as Captain Camara is going to hold on to all the levers of power, he's in charge of all public institutions. I mean, there is serious doubt about this credibility of this election, and they've also announced a commission of inquiry, a national commission of inquiry. Well,
and do you expect something to come out of that inquiry? Do you expect people, to be brought to justice, those that were responsible for this massacre?
Well, if those who were responsible or were in positions of power when this massacre took place are going to conduct the inquiry themselves, well, you can imagine how credible the inquiry is going to be.
Now, the international community has, of course, condemned the massacre in Guinea, with the former colonial leader, France, virtually turning its back onto the coup leaders in Conakry. Now, do you see that there is enough pressure, though, on the military regime there to ensure that at least there is the restoration of democracy that you're talking about?
Actually last year, when the coup happened in Guinea, the African Union had suspended the country from membership. And I think it's up to the African Union, the United Nations, the Economic Community of West African States. They must intervene, and they must ensure that any political solution must be tempered with the need for justice for the victims.
Well, Mandeep, I'm afraid we have to end it there, but it was a pleasure chatting to you. It was Mandeep Singh Tiwana there from CIVICUS talking to us about the current situation in Guinea. And right now, it's time for the weather update. Over to Leanne Simpson.